WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Two officers are injured after Lee County Sheriff Jim Johnson says they were assaulted by an inmate. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. 20-year-old Quartavius Lyles is charged with 2 counts of simple assault on an officer. Saturday, corrections officers were alerted to an inmate causing a problem in a holding cell. As officers were removing the inmate, investigators say that another inmate wouldn't let the officer close the door and attacked that officer. More officers came to help get the inmate under control and restrained. During that altercation, one officer was punched in the head and another suffered a broken ankle. Sheriff Johnson issued a brief statement saying, in part, the department will not tolerate anyone causing harm to anyone in the facility. A fight between inmates leaves 2 dead in Unit 30 at Parchman. This happened last night. One of the victims has been identified as 35-year-old Timothy Hudspeth was serving a 10-year sentence from Tate County for possession of a firearm by a felon. Right now, the second victim's name is pending. The cause of death will later be released once autopsies are completed. The Mississippi Department of Corrections says that the fight is not related to the recent killings within the prison system. 5 inmates have died at Parchman since the start of the new year. 2 deaths were gang-related. The third was the result of a fight among cellmates. The 4th was from natural causes. The 5th death happened during the weekend when officers found Gabriel Carmen hanging Saturday night. Well, state leadership, they're making a renewed commitment to sharing details as soon as they're confirmed, talking about the incidents in Parchman. Courtney Ann Jackson has the very latest developments.
The latest 2 deaths were shared via the MDOC Twitter account Tuesday morning. With an ongoing investigation into the recent violence, Governor Tate Reeves and MDOC make this note.
It appears at this time that these were isolated incidents, that they were not related to the gang violence that led to a number of occurrences several weeks ago.
Sunflower County Coroner Heather Burton's release paints a more specific picture of what happened in the early morning hours. We now know that both inmates appear to have died from blunt force beating injuries. The first victim died when attempts to revive him were unsuccessful. Timothy Hudspeth was dead in a bed inside Unit 30 when the coroner arrived. The governor is also emphasizing a commitment to keeping an open line of communication about what's happening behind prison walls.
We want to get accurate information out, but we want to get it out as quickly as possible, and that this administration is going to be transparent.
That same desire for transparency was echoed by MDOC Interim Commissioner Tommy Taylor Monday. At the legislative level, Senator Juan Barnett says his Corrections Committee is keeping it at the top of the priority list.
Just know that going forward is that, we are working on this on a daily basis, and we're trying to find the best solutions to correct this problem as soon as we can. Money doesn't solve everything, we're looking at everything. When I say everything, we're looking at everything.
Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
New tonight, a scuffle between a West Point Walmart employee and a suspected shoplifter caused a bit of a scare this evening. West Point police say that they were called to the Walmart for a man accused of shoplifting. Police Chief Avery Cook tells WCBI the incident involved a gun, but no shots were ever fired in that incident. The suspect was arrested after leaving the Walmart. Walmart employees were able to describe that suspect leading police to finding him. Police say the general public was never in any danger. The suspect is now in custody. Police are still investigating that situation. Well, solving a crime, it can take up to years to get it solved, but thanks to new technology or technology enhancements, police are using that to their advantage. Louisville Police Chief Sean Holdiness says that security footage has played a major role in solving crimes. A recent robbery in Louisville is prompting the department to show some security footage to the public with the hopes of catching those people responsible for the crime. Holdiness says that security footage helps law enforcement pinpoint exactly what happened and the person who committed the crime.
They might not be breaking in your store, or they might not be robbing your business, but videos from other stores or businesses or homes will help us corroborate whether or not that person drove by to go to the place that they actually robbed.
Holdiness says video is a great way to convict criminal, but law enforcement still need help from people So if you have any information on a crime, police are asking you to go ahead and come forward, and remember that you can remain anonymous. The Columbus Police Department hires an assistant police chief and investigations commander. City leaders took up the consideration for the possible hires at tonight's city council meeting. Dorn Johnson will now serve as the assistant chief. He's a former CPD officer. Rick Jones will be the captain of the Criminal Investigations Division. Jones is also a former CPD officer and Lowndes County Adult Detention Center jail administrator.
Bright blue sky across our region today. Our time lapse from Vernon at Durham's Pharmacy. Look at that great day we had. Hopefully you took advantage, and we needed every ounce of sunshine to warm us. It's been a very chilly day, and temperatures right now range from the mid-20s to around 30. The wind not as strong as last night, so the wind chill not quite as extreme, but we are still advertising lows down into the 20s here. We have some wispy high cirrus clouds out there. Those will thicken as we go throughout the course of tomorrow into the 40s for highs. We are going to remain dry. Now, there will be more clouds in the region because of a system that is coming our way. You can see the moisture back to the west. That will come in here as we get into your Thursday. We'll have more on that in just a few minutes.
The dam at the Oktibbeha County Lake continues to be a concerning issue for Lowndes County or Oktibbeha County leaders and residents. During tonight's Board of Supervisors meeting, it was the first topic discussed. The board discussed draining the lake, which is now a top priority. Our Quentin Smith speaks with county leaders about the issue. Quentin, are they wanting to drain the lake completely?
Not completely. Fire Coordinator Kirk Rosenhan says they want to drain it just below the soft spots in the dam itself. The discovery of a mudslide last week and a potential breach of the levees are highlighting some of the concerns at the lake. Now, county leaders are working tirelessly to fix this issue and prevent anything worse from happening. It was the discovery of this mudslide at the Oktibbeha County Lake that prompted county leaders to issue a voluntary evacuation and bring in pumps to begin pumping water out of the lake.
They're doing more than what we thought what we were expected. We were expecting around 25,000 gallons per minute. I think we're hitting around 50,000 gallons per minute. The water levels have since gone down roughly 4 feet. However, during his presentation to the Board of Supervisors, Fire Coordinator Kirk Rosenhan says an additional 4 to 5 feet of water needs to be pumped out of the lake before it can be drained.
The dam is leaking, but it is not leaking all the way at the bottom of it. So we're going to reduce the lake level down to a specified level as per the county engineer, and that way they can go ahead and modify that intake structure that we can keep the lake down. At this point, it's too high and water won't go in it.
Kristen Campanella says this should take roughly 2 weeks to complete, but she does admit the upcoming rainfall in the forecast could push things back.
We're expecting maybe around an inch. The last we heard, every half inch that we get is 4 feet added to the lake. So, of course, we'll be monitoring that, but, you know, it's weather, so we'll just have to wait till it gets here. Since last week, the county has been downgraded from a warning to a watch status, and for now, it appears the slide has been stabilized. While county leaders continue working to lower the water levels, the roads just north of Rivera Road to just south of Walter Bell Road will continue to be closed.
We're making excellent progress. I've got six pumps and up to 4 siphons working right now, and 724. We redid some of our piping yesterday and greatly enhanced the flow rate.
After the January 11th storm, Campanella says they're hoping to have the governor issue a state of emergency followed by a presidential declaration.
Here is Phoebe this evening, and looking like a party is about ready to get going on with that party hat right there. For Wednesday, a party of clouds on the increase. We'll have some showers here Thursday. And Friday's not looking bad. We're back into the 50s. We'll talk about that next. System also ahead, a look ahead at the weekend after the break.
Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
All right, the last place in the country you would expect to see a tornado today is out here in Oregon. This is Portland, Oregon, and look at this right along the coast. Where is it? Let's plot it. Come on, work with me. Oh, it was just working. That was an EF0 tornado actually out there in Oregon. Oddly enough, way out there. Now, let's come in closer to home here in the southeast. It's chilly out there. Upper 20s to low 30s here across a good chunk of our region. We will have a very chilly night tonight. Down into the 20s, some higher clouds building in later tonight. And look at Florida down here tonight. 26 in Tallahassee, 35 in Tampa and Orlando, 39 in Naples, Florida. Wow, it is going to be chilly down there. Now, this is where it's going to be below freezing in a good chunk of the country tonight, and we will start to lift the colder and colder temperatures back to the north as we start to moderate things going into the weekend and early next week. So yes, it's a little bit chilly here, and we'll stay chilly tomorrow and Thursday, and then we get back into the 50s through the weekend, low 60s possible early next week. Now, remember all of that recent rain? How can you forget? All of that rain, or at least a lot of it, has to go somewhere. Funneling down towards the Gulf of Mexico. There's New Orleans, Lake Pontchartrain, the Gulf of Mexico right here, Mobile Bay. You can see all of that brown. That is the sediment with all that heavy flood water racing down to the Gulf of Mexico. We spotted that from outer space earlier today. We have more rain on the way. Not as prolific as the events we've had, but anywhere from a ½ inch to maybe 1 to 1.5 inches of rain here. So any rain is a concern, but it's not going to be the gully washer like what we've had. Now, any rain is not really welcome at this point. We're watching the rain out here in Texas, extensive cloud cover coming on into the region right now. But as we showed you earlier, a lot of sunshine today. Look at all that blue sky. Tomorrow, though, we will have overcast conditions in a good chunk of the area by afternoon. So we may squeeze in a little bit of sun early, 20s to start out, and we're back into the 40s as we get into the afternoon. But if those clouds thicken earlier in the morning, we may see some slightly warmer lower 30s as we start the day. But notice how most of us will be somewhere in the 40s, extensive cloud cover tomorrow. The rain, that's going to hold off until Thursday morning, it looks like. So have your umbrellas ready to go Thursday. The heaviest rain, if we're going to get it, will be in the afternoon and evening hours. You can see this big batch of moisture coming our way. Maybe a clap of thunder. Not really a lot of lightning, no severe weather here. And then that system goes away just in time for the weekend. Now, we may see some clouds and a few lingering showers early Friday, so we will include that in the forecast right there. But really, we'll clear things out and get some partly cloudy conditions going for you Saturday and Sunday, back into the 50s here. We mentioned those lower 60s early next week. So really, Scott, for the next 7 days, really about 1.25 days where we may have some wet weather. And that's a nice little change of pace considering what we've had.
And, I can deal with, the middle 50s, lower 60s. That's like pretty much perfection.
Yeah, comfortable days, cool nights, but a little bit better than this Arctic blast we've had.
Definitely. All right. Thank you very much, Keith. Well, heads up for folks, if you're getting your water from the Hatley Water Department, a boil water notice has been put in place. Now, the water department says that there are 8 roads that this is affecting. So if you live along these following roads, you need to boil your water for at least 3 minutes. Those roads include Doster Road, Phillips Schoolhouse Road, Colonial Circle, Meadow Lane, Country Lane, Horseshoe Circle, Paris Drive, and Kirkendall Road. Again, a boil water notice in effect for the Hatley Water Department. Well, changes could soon be coming to the kids' menu at school. We'll explain why coming up next.
Watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
Welcome back, everyone. It's safe to say that school lunch is probably one of the most important moments of the day. Most trays, they'll have a meat, a grain, a fruit, and a vegetable, but some of these food groups could disappear from your child's plate in the coming months. Our Cash Matlock explains.
Since 1916, the USDA has gone through about 9 different food guidelines for school districts across the country. The food pyramid is one of their most recognizable guides. However, their most recent symbol is the Obama-era My Plate design.
We have 5 food groups or food components that we're required to offer every day. Meat alternate, the grains, vegetables, fruit, and milk.
Amy Rollins is the child nutrition director for Webster County Schools. She says the current guideline puts an emphasis on fruits and vegetables.
You want half of your plate to be fruits and vegetables, and the other half consists of meats and grains.
In fact, children have to select either a fruit or a vegetable for the meal to be reimbursable by the government.
We're required to offer the orange vegetables, the dark green vegetables, and the legumes, and so we still have to fit that all in within a week.
Children can pick up to 5 items for their trays, but Rollins says this is a rare sight.
They're able to pick up that much. Most of the time they don't.
Whatever the children don't pick up or eat gets thrown away. This is why the Trump administration has recently proposed rollbacks on fruits and vegetables. Cafeteria worker Rebecca Tulipin says regardless of guidelines, instilling healthy eating habits at an early age is most important.
There's a lot of different categories they get to choose from that give them healthier choices.
Even if it's just 1 or 2 kids that we get to try something new and they like it, you know, I would hope that that's something that we could accomplish.
And making a happy plate helps make a happy kid.
If they don't see nothing but a smile and it makes their day easier, hey, we've done our job then.
The proposed rules from the Trump administration will be published on January 23rd and will be subject to a public comments period for 60 days before becoming finalized. Ole Miss still trying to break through and get that first SEC win. Could they get it done on the road? The highlights are coming up next in sports.
Sports with Tom Ebel.
Everything has gone wrong for Ole Miss to start conference play. 4 straight losses, 3 with blown leads, 2 losses by less than 5 points. Could the Rebels right the ship and get back in the win column on the road? Kermit Davis and company facing off against Tennessee. Not a good start. Vols in transitions, be a nice pass to John Fulkerson. Finishes to give the Vols a 9-0 run to give themselves an early 10-point lead. Rebels down by 14 here. Brian Tyree, tough shot. The size up, hand in his face, doesn't matter. Tickles the twine. 11-point Vols lead. Ole Miss unable to weather the storm, but still battling, trading possessions off turnovers. Look at Devontae Shuler. Sweet move around the defender for the lay-in. But Ole Miss's offensive woes reared their ugly head yet again off the pick and roll. Fulkerson again to the bucket for 2, 16 first half points for him. Rebels down 19 at the half. Tyree still firing, 2 hands in his face this time. Off the pick and roll, gets the friendly roll to go, but just not enough. Tennessee gets the blowout win, 73-48. Rebels 500 on the year. They fall to 0-5 in conference play. Mississippi State will look to make it 3 straight wins after starting SEC play 0-3. A big reason why for the recent success, turning up the defense. In the back-to-back 25-plus point wins over Missouri and Georgia, Ben Howland's team held both below 40% from the field while out-rebounding both by a margin of 10-plus. Howland says while the defense has ramped up, the play offensively has been equally as important to getting back on track.
The last 2 games we've done a better job offensively, taking care of the basketball, taking quality shots. And again, that's something we've talked about a lot, and I think it's really helping us, and it makes your defense better when you're not turning it over.
Playing team defense and helping each other out. Ain't nobody gonna be on the island. That your brother got your back.
At the end of the day, we all care about winning, and everybody had to, adjust to their role, and because the only thing we want to do is just win, and, being able to follow the coach's instructions and being able to know how our roles and stuff work. That's all we just care about, winning.
Mississippi State will look to make it 3 straight home wins tomorrow against Arkansas at 6 p.m. That game will be on the SEC Network. Mississippi State women's basketball will look to rebound after its loss to South Carolina at Vanderbilt, 8 p.m. on Thursday. Ole Miss women's basketball also in action at Auburn Thursday as well. Saturday, big day for men's basketball. Mississippi State at Oklahoma as part of the SEC Big 12 Challenge at 1 p.m. on ESPN2. And Ole Miss keep on battling. They're going to try and get that first SEC win on the road at Georgia come Saturday. Stocks in baseball. D1 Baseball releasing its preseason All-Americans for the upcoming year. Trio of Bulldogs listed. Justin Foscue and JT Ginn named to the second team. Tanner Allen to the third team. And the lone Rebel listed. Third baseman Tyler Keenan listed to the third team All-American list for the preseason. Just 3 weeks away from the opening weekend of the college baseball season. Mike Leach's staff at Mississippi State almost complete. The new Bulldogs head coach missing 2 more to finish off his first staff in Starkville. Almost the entire staff coming from Washington State to join Leach in the SEC. Defensive line coach Jeffrey Phelps and defensive backs coach Darcel McBath reportedly joining officially yesterday. Tony Hughes, one of the only coaches being retained from the former staff. His job title remains to be announced. State with 2 more spots left, most notably the defensive coordinator position. Leach nor Mississippi State has made the hirings official. But hey, the staff moving into town, making their Twitter bios official. The staff coming together one by one. Tragic news out of Birmingham as former Mississippi State wide receiver Darunya Wilson has died. Wilson was found in a home in Birmingham, Alabama, and Birmingham police is investigating it as a homicide. Wilson was tied for the second most career touchdown receptions in Mississippi State football history and finished top 10 in almost every major category as a receiver for the Bulldogs. The wide receiver nicknamed Bear was 25 years old. WCBI News will be back after the break.
All right, here's our 7-day forecast. We're just talking about pizza buffets here. Tomorrow, clouds increase, a buffet of clouds. How about that? With some rain developing Thursday.
We don't want more rain, but hey.
Just one day.
Just one day. We can do it. All right. Thanks, Keith. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.